very bulky elephant. He's probably in the region of about 6 tons in weight. And like a lot of elephant this time of year, he's eating twigs and bark. In summertime, when the grass is green, they eat a lot of grass. Then in winter they find better nutrition and even moisture. Oh, there's another one further back, just heard another tree break. So it seems there's more than one bull here. Look at those folds in the skin. Very important part of elephants' cooling mechanism. Obviously the ears are one of the main ones. Earlier with those females, we saw a lot of open ears, but those were just to make them look bigger. And they're just flapping their ears back and forth. That's to cool down. But another way that helps a lot is if you look at those wet marks on his face at the moment. Look behind and below his eye, also on the trunk. You can see those wet lines of mud. What those folds in the skin do is it gives it bigger exposed surface area. Now if you think of a little mouse, its exposed skin or its outside surface area relative to its mass is quite large, so it's very easy for it to lose body heat. The bigger you get, the more body mass you have to relatively less and less exposed surface area or skin area. So you can imagine if you're the biggest mammal on land, an elephant, mass relative to quite a small amount of exposed skin. And that makes it very hard for you to get rid of excess body heat. So they use the ears, but then by having so many folds and wrinkles in the skin, almost like a sheet that's crumpled up, if you iron it out it's much bigger, so it gives them greater skin surface. But also, and this is what I was actually getting to in a very long and roundabout way, is that those folds in the skin, they can fill that up with mud or water or even cool dust. And again, because that mud is now in a little fold of skin, it stays wet for quite a while, and then when you get a breeze or a bit of wind or even just the elephant's movement, the flap of his ears, that bit of airflow that you get over the wet mud will give it cooling, evaporative cooling, the same as we get when we sweat. That was a very good example of it. You can see already, look at the body, if you look around the ears area, in this area, but even now, just on the sort of shoulder part next to the ears, look at how dry it is there already. And that's obviously from the ears movement, drying that mud down quicker. But also, they can dissipate a huge amount of energy or heat through those ears. Blood running through it and the ears moving, they can cool down the blood by up to 4 degrees Celsius before and after the ear. So blood goes into the ear, comes out the ear, and then it goes straight from there past the brain. So the brain always gets ideal temperature blood. The rest of the body can compensate or cope with fluctuating temperature levels a bit better. Very big bull this. His head alone with the trunk will probably weigh about a ton, a bit more than Jiga, the car we're driving. Now this little guy, well, little being a relative expression or description, he's still a big elephant. Looks like about an early 20-year-old, maybe 22, 24 years old. And he's what's called a scar. Oof, this guy, look at him. He's ripping away this tree. Pulling off branches. Get back what I was saying about the other bull. We're going to keep watching this bigger guy. I think he's doing something more interesting at the moment. Eating bark. But like we said earlier, this is a very big elephant. He's now at an age where he'll be able to go into must for anything from 3 to about probably 5 months a year. Quite that long, at 3 to 4 months a year. But over the next 4 or 5 years, as he gets even bigger, he'll be able to stay in must for longer and longer, maybe up to 5-6 months. Now that must is basically oh, the other one's breaking the tree as well. They all at it. Must is basically a condition where the testosterone level of an elephant bull goes up quite a few times, up to about 6 times normal, and that obviously makes him more aggressive, but it also makes him or puts him in a higher ranking big, and by him being able to go into must for longer and longer because he's getting bigger and more dominant, he will be accepted into many breeding herds. This is probably why they were around. They probably spent some time with that herd we saw a bit earlier. Now, this younger bull, he's probably not going to go into must at all. And certainly while he's hanging around with this bigger bull, he won't go into must. But he's got the benefit of, because he's staying with this bigger bull, he's going to get to know quite a few matriarchs and breeding herds. He's going to pick up quite a little knowledge and experience from this older bull. And he's going to keep him some company as well and chase away things that might harass and bother them. And that's why it's worthwhile for this younger bull to spend extended periods of time with this bigger bull. The term for these younger guys that hang around with big mature bulls, they're called askari bulls. It's a Swahili word. It means guard, or someone that watches over something. So this is the askari bull to this bigger guy. So this elephant has got a little, just the tip of it's been broken off. Could be from a variety of incidents or reasons. Maybe he was breaking off a very thick, difficult piece of bark from a tree. Or more likely, he was probably sparring or maybe even fighting with another bull. And that would have caused that little tip to chip off. It's not a problem. The front part of that tusk is dead. It's just ivory or enamel, but same as our teeth on the top areas, on the ridges. Only as you go closer towards the trunk do you start getting the root inside. So if he breaks parts of the tusk off, anything sort of pretty much outside of the fold of the lip, it's not a problem. The tusk will keep growing. Very relaxed, enjoying the early evening dinner. There's the askari bull. I do hope we see more of them tomorrow. This is a fantastic bull, the big guy. The askari, I'm sure, is also quite a character if we do get to know him. And it would be lovely if we can see some more of them tomorrow. But for now, let's get up to Chirakatla. Cheers, mister. Oh, sorry, I was looking up on my shoulder. Let's have a look at his face a bit closer. Just want to have a look at his ears basically. He's turning away again. I wanted to see his left ear. Basically you can recognize elephants from many different characteristics on them, but the easiest is ear markings, and of course in his case that little chip off the right tusk is a good ID feature. But that can the next while do some sparring and he could change that tusk. There's a nice piece of bark he's got there. So he's using that tusk as a very handy tool as well. Very dexterous trunks, and of course very well coordinated in terms of either to break branches over like we saw just now, or to strip bark, sometimes even to dig things out. I've seen elephants go down on their knees and dig out little onion-like plants about the size of a golf ball, probably about almost half a foot, maybe a bit more underground, digging them out perfectly every time. Interesting, the askari bull in the background is feeding off in very much the same way. Now of course, like we do as well, if you hang around with your friends a lot, there we can see his ear nicely. Thank you, Rickson. You hang around with your friends a lot, you pick up some of their mannerisms and vice versa. These guys feeding in almost the same manner. I see he's got two little almost thumb size marks at the top of his ear, and then two sort of more raggedy notches slightly lower down.